Hello and welcome, this is rooflemonger, and my friends, in this video I'm going to be talking about the fighting games of 2021. Some of the games you're about to see here were originally supposed to be fighting games of 2020, and it turns out, well, 2020 kind of a garbage fire of a year for everyone involved, and some of the games got pushed back. That said, in this video, I'll be talking about the new games of 2021, also which games are getting updates for 2021 as well, as fighting games compared to the average game have a very long tail and always get updated year after year. And also just a look at what the future might have to hold as well. So to start off with here, let's talk Guilty Gear Strive. This is certainly the biggest fighting game release of 2021. From the creators of Dragon Ball FighterZ, also another smash hit, comes the return of the venerable franchise, Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear Strive arrives with some of the best looking graphics of all times, and of course the traditional fantastic Guilty Gear style of gameplay. Now obviously there'll be tweaks here and there. The Roman cancel system, which is one of the biggest parts of Guilty Gear, is getting a whole new coat of paint. It's like the most complex it's ever been. And also, yes, one of the biggest lessons learned thanks to 2020, the game will indeed feature rollback netcode. So if you were a fan of the previous game these guys made, Dragon Ball FighterZ, you don't have to worry about the online play. From the outstanding visuals to the crazy bombastic characters, even more so now we're getting some new additions to the cast in Nagoriyuki and Giovanna, which also they seem to play pretty crazy themselves. I'm sure this will be an outright fantastic game. Once again, this is more than likely the biggest fighting game release of the year. As of the time of this recording, it's not too far away now. It will be coming out April 6th. Suffice to say, if you care about fighting games at all, you probably want to check this one out. The King of Fighters 15 will be making its appearance in 2021 as well. Hey, it's the 15th installment of the series, going back all the way to the original, The King of Fighters 94. Now, as of the time of me making this video, there's not too much known about the game, other than it looks worlds better than its predecessor, King of Fighters 14. More details will be revealed over time. Right now, they're currently drip feeding us a trailer every week. If you're watching this at a later date, there's probably a whole bunch of trailers out now. Although we don't know too much just yet, the core of the King of Fighters gameplay is always fantastic and some of the best in all of fighting games. No statements yet about rollback netcode, although I'm very optimistic it'll have it. King of Fighters games tend to launch with very big rosters. King of Fighters 14 specifically launched with 50 characters, so expect a lot of people, a lot of characters, and just a lot of cool gameplay. The traditional 3-on-3 style of gameplay King of Fighters always goes for has always worked and has always been great, and I'm sure it'll work just fine for King of Fighters 15. Coreupt is an indie fighting game coming out in 2021. This may not have the huge teams and big budgets of other games, but it certainly looks fantastic. Coreupt uses classic 2D fighting game gameplay and also has a very nice, I don't know if I want to call it cyberpunk or just sci-fi or near future kind of aesthetic. Whatever the proper term for it is, I dig it. This game is planned for launch later in this year of 2021. Also, there will be a public beta before the launch, and yes, there will be rollback netcode. Sometimes some of the best ideas in gaming come from these smaller indie teams, and with that said, keep an eye out for Coreupt. Also for 2021 is Hellish Quart. Now, Hellish Quart is certainly a non-traditional fighting game to be sure, but is definitely still a fighting game in the end. Has a lot of DNA from classic Bushido Blade series. Like in Bushido Blade, combat is ultra lethal. A single attack could be the end of the fight. That's it, that's all. Everything is super physics-based. Everything bounces off, the way you think it should, and just interacts with everything the way you think it should. And also is mocapped by actual actors using HEMA, historical European martial arts. And also the dude doing the mocap worked on Witcher 3, so pretty good pedigree. It's currently in early access right now on Steam, and early access, things are subject to change, but they're adding new characters, new stages, tweaking the gameplay balance, all that. And it looks like it's going to be a very fun and very unique fighting game for 2021 to be sure. So if you're looking for something a little bit more realistic than the traditional fighting game flair, then this is definitely for you. It's set during the 17th century Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and there will be a story mode and all that stuff when the full launch happens. And just, yeah, very interesting, not many games like it. For fighting games continuing on in 2021, well, Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V started in early 2016 and will still be going strong in 2021. Now, this is a factor of, well, COVID happened and behind the scenes Street Fighter VI kind of ran into some hiccups, let's put it that way. And with those things in mind, that's why we have Season 5 of Street Fighter V. Thankfully, Capcom has been gracious enough to give us a little bit of a roadmap, and we know what's happening and when. So Season 5 will give us a full rebalance of the game, a bunch of new stages and costumes, and also 5 new characters. Dan, the classic goof, Rose, Oro, Akira from rival schools, and one final character yet to be determined. Street Fighter V certainly had a rocky launch. I think that's incredibly fair to say, but you know what? Right now, these days, the game's in a very good spot. If this is the game we got back when the game originally launched, there would be no complaints, because it's in a solid place now. So if you've never played Street Fighter V before, hey, give it a shot. Samurai Shodown will continue with its 3rd season of content, and with that we'll be getting at least 4 new characters. We will have Cham Cham, the classic little girl, and we'll also have another guest character, as Sam Show's had a few, in Hibiki from the Last Blade series. Samurai Shodown might not be the biggest game on the block, right? It's certainly not as big as like Tekken or Dragon Ball FighterZ or anything, but it's a solid game and it's, well, just straight up fun to play. So if you've never tried it before, no harm in giving it a shot. Hey, you just might like it. Tekken 7 continues to stay strong, continues to keep going with Season 4. So we're partway into Season 4 already. We've had Kunimitsu come out and obviously a rebalance, all that. Also, they have enhanced and frankly fixed a lot of the online play. It's certainly better than it was before, and we still got another character and more fun stuff to come. And for mighty Dragon Ball FighterZ, at the very least, we have one more character left in our Season 3, and that will be Gogeta, very highly asked for character, and he'll finally be arriving. And as for more in the future, well, Dragon Ball FighterZ still has plenty of gas left in the tank. And looking to the future of fighting games, not necessarily 2021, but things we just know about, they will happen at some point. We have Virtua Fighter Cross Esports. What is Virtua Fighter Cross Esports? I'd love to tell you because I have no idea. All I can really tell you is it is something that is happening. Now, is this Virtua Fighter 6? I don't know. It's definitely something new with Virtua Fighter. It could be Virtua Fighter 6. It could be like Virtua Fighter 5 revamped with a new coat of paint for a new generation. I'm not too sure. Sega being very helpful and not telling anyone anything about it. But you know what? If you're a fan of Virtua Fighter like I am, you just have to accept it's there, and at least it's something. The words Virtua Fighter are being said, and hopefully there'll be a new game in our future. So as for what is Virtua Fighter Cross Esports and when are we getting it, no idea, but hey, let's just hope for the best. And the big one we don't really know anything about, Project L, which is the League of Legends fighting game. Whenever it comes out, it's certainly to be a huge, impossibly titanic deal that everyone's going to have to pay attention to. But when are we going to pay attention to it? Well, don't really know. The game itself is definitely not coming out in 2021. The footage you're seeing is literally everything we know about it, which is basically nothing. But we might finally get a real look at the game, at least in 2021. The ramifications of this game, as someone in the fighting game community, it's absolutely huge. This will be basically the biggest fighting game launch since like Street Fighter 4. The League of Legends community has tens of millions of players, and with this game coming out, obviously for us in the fighting game community, very big deal, but then there's going to be so much new blood that have never played a fighting game before, and yeah, it's just going to be a lot of people interested in this game. Not really anything to talk about it, but even then, I'm still excited for it. We gotta wait and we gotta see. All in all, 2021 is looking to be a strong year for the fighting game community and just fighting games in general. Obviously, 2020, maybe not so much of a good year, but with some of the problems 2020 gave us, they also gave us some solutions, as 2021 is finally the year that a lot of major fighting games will finally have rollback netcode put into the game, which is something for a lot of us, we've been fighting for that for a decade at this point. That all said, my friends, that is your look at the fighting games of 2021. What's coming that's new, and also just what's ongoing. That all said, this is the end of the video. So hey, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.
Just to love me.